Hello Nintendo Wii here, welcome back to Let's Play Retro Games, and welcome to part 2 of my SNES game collection. Today I'm going to be talking you through my boxed Japanese SNES games, or Super Famicom as it was known in Japan. So, without further ado, let's get started. The first game I have here is called Yoshis Cookie. It's a really fun puzzle game made by Nintendo. It was also released on a lot of other systems. It was on the NES. I've also got it on the GameCube. This is probably the best version. It's got really nice graphics and it's actually got really nice animations as well. So if you're looking for a fun puzzle game, I'd highly recommend Yoshi's Cookie. So the second game we have here, it's more commonly known outside of Japan as Earthbound. This is Mother 2. The sequel to the Famicom game Mother. It took everything that was great about that game and really improved it in every way possible. It's a really wacky RPG. If you've never heard of it before, definitely recommend going and checking out Earthbound. It's available on the Wii U and the Wii Virtual Console. It's on the 3DS as well, I think, so really highly recommend Mother 2. Such a fun game. The next one we have here, and another classic puzzle game. This is one of many Puyo Puyo games. The most recent version is Puyo Puyo Tetris on the Switch, so I definitely recommend going and picking that one up. If you've ever played anything like Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine or Kirby's Avalanche on the SNES, it's basically the exact same game, but this is where they all stemmed from in the first place. The next one here, this is Twinbee. This is actually a platformer, not a shooting game. If you're familiar with the Twinbee series, this is nothing like it, basically. It's a platformer, it's called Twinbee Rainbow Bell Adventures, and it is fairly fun. I did a video of it a few years ago actually, one of the Retro Gamer Week videos, so I'll put a link down there for you to go and check it out. This is Twinbee Rainbow Bell Adventures. It is quite a good game. The next game we have here, and a game that unfortunately I haven't played very much of. It does have a translation patch, which I'll get to in a bit actually, because one of the main reasons that I picked up these games was because they are a lot cheaper than the American counterparts, and a lot of them never came out in the UK at all. So this one is Star Ocean. There's a translation patch out there online which you can use on the Retro Freak or the Retron 5 to actually play a lot of these games in English. So don't worry if you don't know Japanese, it's still worth getting because they are a lot cheaper, and as you can see the box art is incredible. So, another RPG for the SNES, and a very advanced one for the system as well. It actually has a very big memory cartridge, so really interesting to have Star Ocean. The next game we have here is a really fun game. It's called Haruka Wasa. I'm sure you've heard of it before. If you haven't, it's a very interesting platformer with the whole unique mechanic of the fact that you get to throw your fishing rod around to navigate the levels. It's called Haruka Wasa. It's also on the 3DS. There's one on the Vita, there's one on the PSP, and there's one on the original DS as well, I think. But this was the first game in the series, probably the most expensive game that I've got here. It was really hard to track down, so I'm really glad I managed to get myself a complete in-box copy of the original game. Highly recommend it if you're looking for something a bit unique on the SNES. The next one we have here, this is a game I had absolutely no idea what it was, so I just picked it up on a whim and I was actually really happy with it. I think I did a Retro Gamer Week video about it a long time ago, so I'll put a link in the description as usual. This one's called Psycho Dream. It's a really interesting game. It plays a lot like some sort of side-scrolling beat-em-up, something like... what am I thinking of? Plays sort of like the old Shinobi games on the Mega Drive. Never heard of it before, so definitely recommend going and checking it out, and it's also fairly cheap because I think not a lot of people have heard of it, but it is really good, so definitely recommend Psycho Dream if you're looking for something very unique. The next game we have here, and one that I haven't actually played yet, but one that I definitely intend to, and I'm sure a lot of people know this series already. This is one of the Fire Emblem games, and I picked it up purely because it's a Fire Emblem game that never came out over here. I don't know which one this is, but it only cost me 300 yen, which is about £1, I think, which is just ridiculous considering the condition, and it also has the manual and the cart in immaculate condition, so it's just insane how cheap the games are out there. It's brilliant. If you do get the chance to go out to Japan, I'd highly recommend tracking down some Super Famicom games. Well, they're still reasonably priced because I'm sure they're going to shoot up in the coming years, so if you are interested in where I picked up a lot of these games, I do have a playlist called Japan 2016 where I went around a lot of game shops in Japan, all around Akihabara, around Osaka, Dendon Town. Really recommend going and watching them videos. I know a lot of people really enjoyed them, so I'll put a link in the description. It's going to be a very busy description. The next game we have here, and one that I showed off in my boxed collection in the last episode, this is Terranigma, again, the Japanese version. This is before I picked up the UK one, and just look at that amazing art on the back and the amazing cover on the front. I really love the design that they went for with these games. And I also love the fact that sometimes they're vertical and sometimes they're horizontal as well, so either way, Terranigma is an amazing game. It does have a translation patch out there, or of course you could just patch the ROM with the US version, or the UK version anyway, so really nice to have it though. The next game is a game that actually never came out in English anywhere, so the only way you can actually get this one is to get the Japanese one and play a translation patch. This one is called Seiken Densetsu 3, or Secret of Mana 2. Of course, the Secret of Mana came out over here, or in America, in a lot of viewers' cases, but the sequel never actually got an official translation. It's definitely worth tracking down because it is an amazing game. The graphics are outstanding for the SNES, the gameplay is even better than Secret of Mana, so if you are a fan of that series, highly recommend tracking down a copy of Seiken Densetsu 3 and getting yourself a translation patch on there somehow. The next game here, another really interesting game and one that was exclusive to Japan. This is called Mario and Wario. It's one of very few SNES games that actually uses the SNES mouse, and it uses it to full effect. It's such a fun puzzle game. You basically it's kind of like Lemmings, you basically have to guide Mario to the exit. For some reason he's got a bucket on his head, and the whole reason I know about this game in the first place is because when you play the original Pokemon Red and Blue and you go up to the SNES right at the start of the game, it says he's playing a game with Mario wearing a bucket on his head, and it's actually referring to this game here. Very, very interesting game, and it is kind of a shame that it's never even seen the light of day outside of the original release. So probably the most interesting game that I've got here, and one that you should definitely check out. And the last game that I've got here, I haven't got too many of them, but the ones that I do have are really cool. I have no idea what this one's called, sorry, I'll try and find out and put it in the bottom of the video, but basically this is Mario Paint for vertical scrolling shooters. It's really cool, it really is. You get to not only design the levels, you also get to design the music, just like Mario Paint. You also get to design your own ship, which I'm sure a lot of people drew some rather rude ships back in the day, but it does give you the ability to do absolutely anything you want. Change all the sound effects, change the animation, change the sprites. Really, really cool. So thank you very much for watching. This was my Japanese boxed Super Famicom games collection. Let me know some of your favourite Super Famicom exclusive games down in the comments below. Not the comments in the description, I've finally got it right this time, below the description. So yeah, let me know what Super Famicom games are some of your favourites. Let me know if there's any games that you think I should have that I don't already have in my collection, because I am going back to Japan, hopefully, fingers crossed, next year, and I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for some more. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please comment, subscribe, and check out my Patreon, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye!